there have been serious intimations coming from, I would say, practically official sources that a massive Russian offensive is in the works. And it's only up to the Ministry of Defense to set out the date. There's a serious talk about this offensive starting by the end of September maximum. This means 1 month from now, or maybe even earlier. Depending on the result of this massive offensive, we can have, I would say, a pretty definitive situation in the front, at least in the Donbass front, in the next few weeks or months before the end of the year. And that will configure the massive humiliation of NATO in Donbass, in Ukraine, compared to which the massive humiliation in Afghanistan was a walk in the park, right? And this will change once again the chessboard, and this will interfere in every major decision from now on. And this will also coincide roughly with January 1st, 2024, when the BRICS 11 officially starts. So it's very interesting because a few months ago, many of us independents, we were discussing that the next months, what we are living now, would be absolutely crucial and sometimes even revolutionary. It is already happening. We are right in the middle of it, but it hasn't even started for good. It will. The two major developments right ahead are massive humiliation of NATO in Ukraine and start of BRICS 11 beginning of the year. So then we're going to start 2024 in a completely different situation. And I would say the lineaments of a new emerging, not world system, to reminding us of Wallerstein, but pretty close to a radical change ahead. We are already in the middle of it in the next 2 or 3 months. So what we lived yesterday was a historic date, as Xi Jinping himself, he said, translating straight from Mandarin, historic, his own words. Well, we haven't even begun to understand what historic means, so wait for the next 3-4 months.
Well, Pepe, it was great to be with you. I know you do have to run. I shared your Telegram in the chat, t.me/rockandrollgeopolitics. Everyone follow Pepe Escobar for all of the good work that he does as a journalist. Take good care. Have a good night. Do you want to tell folks where you're going? I know that you might want...
I see the communication was cutting off, right? Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Well, Pepe, I will see you again, hopefully very soon. Take good care.
Thank you.
And Twitter as well, please, Danny.
Yes. Let me make sure that you're following Pepe Escobar on Twitter. I'll pull that up right now. Make sure that you follow him at the real Pepe Escobar, and I'm sending that in the chat. Looks like we've lost Pepe, but I did follow that. Michael, me and you now. I just have a couple more questions. I want to be respectful of your time as well. But I have a few Patreon members who had a few questions for you, and I wanted to see if you would spend some time answering them.
Okay.
The first one is from Kevin. So folks who don't know, if you subscribe on Patreon, the link in the description, you can submit guest questions. So Kevin asked, he wanted to know, he said that it looks to him that BRICS is being formed slowly, deliberately, to not spook the financial markets as U.S. hegemony declines. Is this true? Because if BRICS dumped all of their dollars, the U.S. economy would collapse, which could only mean more war, that being the USA's default when it pushes back against any pushback to its imperial ambitions. Do you want to take that question? And what do you think about Kevin's thought process here?
No, the United States economy will not collapse if other countries don't pay. The U.S. can simply print the money. It doesn't need to borrow. A sovereign country can print its own money. I think you should study modern monetary theory and get the principles of it. So nobody's talking about the U.S. economy collapsing by other countries not doing it. It's the international economic strategy of enriching the U.S. economy by exploiting other countries financially and by trade that is at stake. And it's the whole neocon idea of controlling the whole world by military power. That really is the key. So I know that a lot of people would like to think, oh, the U.S. is going to collapse. It's not going to collapse. It isn't going to grow. I mean, the America's problems are internal. The domestic debt system, the debt overhead, the tax system. It's not the BRICS won't bring the U.S. down. Biden and the neoliberals are going to bring the U.S. down. The enemy is within. There used to be, I think in the 1960s, I went in Germany, and there were signs, Der Feind ist herein, the enemy is within, meaning the left. Well, you could say the enemy is within for the U.S., and it's not the socialists.
Indeed, indeed. One question that came to mind as you were speaking was, there was all this talk about.
Wait, you're talking very loud. Can you? I have to keep manipulating the sound.
Oh, that's okay.
You suddenly tripled your volume.
Oh, I don't know why that happened. Sorry about that. I'll speak quieter.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you then, because, we touched a little bit on why BRICS didn't come out with an independent currency that could almost be used as a reserve. Do you think that this is ever going to be possible, or is it even necessary? What is your take on it?
It's not even within sight at the present point. A currency has to be issued by a government, a sovereign government, and there would have to, all the BRICS would have to be part of the same country to issue their own currency. And there's nothing like that on the site. There are different governments with different purposes. This talk of a BRIC currency is very confused. I tried to give the quote from President Putin because he used the correct term, a means of settlement among central banks for the balance of payments, imbalances of trade and investment. It's a paper gold. Nobody uses gold as a currency. You don't go to the grocery store, or you don't buy stocks and bonds or even houses with gold. That's you're not going to be able to do it with anything like a BRICS currency within the vision of the future. So people are confused about what money is, and that's a whole different show. What is money and what isn't money? But if you understand what money is, and you realize that the word BRICS currency is only a narrow currency that only governments can spend for each other, and it's created on a computer by computerized. It's not anything that you can hold in your pocket to spend.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the news about it. There was just story after story, and even in the Western mainstream media.
Of course there is in the Western, because it's meaningless. Of course, the Western is going to say they're trying to do something, and now let's hope that the BRICS are dumb enough to pick up and do what the Western countries say they're doing and try to go down this blind alley. Right. Don't even, if you read the Western press, I don't know why you're watching this show. You're not. You're just getting misinformation in the New York Times, the Washington Post. All of the press. There's a deliberate misrepresentation of what the BRICS are all about. That's what Pepe and I were talking about today.
Right. Yeah. No, it did feel like it was almost a way to portray BRICS as a destabilizing threat rather than the opposite, a stabilizing force.
That's right. America says, if you defend yourself and don't let us invade you and take your gold and oil, that destabilizes our dream of getting rich off you while we deindustrialize, and we can't produce a domestic surplus anymore, except for the 1%. And that's the threat.
Thank you for tuning in to my latest video. I appreciate all of your support. This channel, however, needs your help. I am seeking to make this channel more sustainable in the long term and upgrade necessary equipment to ensure that this work continues onward and makes progress to give you all of the geopolitical analysis that you all deserve. For that reason, I'm asking you to become a member of my Patreon community at patreon.com/DannyDhaiphong. You can find that link in the video description or in the pinned comment below. For whatever amount you choose to give, just know you are supporting independent media that you can't find anywhere else. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the next video.